Do you remember if you have two signs, if you have two pluses, it's a plus, yes? Then if you add a minus, it's a minus. If you take away a plus, it's a minus. But what happens if you have two minuses? It's a plus. Yeah, good. Okay. So, two pluses. If you give something nice, like you give Stephen a nice cake, that is a positive reinforcement. For example, a reward. Okay. If you give something nasty, it's a punishment. So some people talk about punishment. So yesterday I went to the Citadel, and they have the police museum which has a prison, and in the first cell they have a model of a man like this being whipped. Moving, but probably real. So that's a punishment. Something active. Smash. So if you take away something nice, you could call that a negative punishment. An example would be a consequence. Because you didn't finish your homework, I'm taking away your mobile phone for us. There is a good or no video games. Or go to bed half an hour early. You take something away. So this is the bit that people get difficult, which I'm going to talk some more about. If you take away something nasty, that is what's called negative reinforcement. And this is what we come across quite a lot in these families with conduct problem kids. So I say to my naughty child, go to bed. He said, no, I'm not going to. It's Mickey Mouse on TV. I want another 5 minutes. And then I'm going to watch Frozen 2. Absolutely. And I said, don't be stupid, go to bed. School exam. I want you to become a doctor when you grow up. And you said, I'm not going to do it. 5 more minutes Frozen. Yeah? And I then said, oh, all right, 5 more minutes. Yeah? So by having a tantrum, she has taken away the negative. She is negatively reinforced. Because I was saying, go to bed. She has a tantrum. That has the effect, then I stop. I'm inconsistent, I back down. She is rewarded. The next night, she's going to learn to have a bigger tantrum because it works. This is good stuff. You get an extra 10 minutes. So without meaning to, you can make a child antisocial. And it works the other way for the parent, of course. If I say, go to bed, and she says, no, I won't do it, I'm not going to watch it. Stop it, or I'll really, I'll be horrible to you. If she then does behave, the negative behavior she was doing is taken away because I learn if I get nasty and shout and threatening, she behaves. So the nasty behavior from you goes away, so I get reinforced for getting angry because it works. If I'm very nice and say, it doesn't work. I go, after she's being a tantrum, and then she gets frightened and says, I'm learning as a parent, if I shout, it works. So then you get what Gerald Patson called a coercive process, where each of them gets shouting to the other because of the negative reinforcement. So it's an important concept that we'll come back to. But now we're going to talk about brains. So what I'd like you to do is get in twos again, please. Get in pairs. And twos, twos. And the instruction is two things. One, if you have a child, either your own child or one you see in clinic or one you can think of. 3 behaviours you'd like to see more of. Yes? What would you like to do? And what praise words you feel comfortable saying. Okay, so that's the first bit. So get in a pair, please, and just think 3 behaviours of a child you see you like to see more, and then what words you would use to talk to the child. Nothing it's something you want to see more of. Tidying up, being helpful, being kind. It's 3 positive behaviours. What you want to see more of, it might not even happen. Make the bed. Get up and get ready for school in time. Have you found 3 things? Can you give me some examples of what you want to see more of? By 10 o'clock, okay. And how would you say that? What would you say to your child if they're in bed by 10 o'clock?
Do you remember we spent a lot of time together?
Okay, so it gave a good reason.
Yeah.
All right. What about just simple, anybody's simple phrase statement? What did you want to see more of? Another example?
Of what, saying praise?
No, yeah, just of a behaviour you want to see. First of all, the behaviour. What behaviour do you want to see more of?
Taking the plates into the
Yes,
kitchen.
so what do you say?
I say thank you.
Well, thank you is after they've done it. But
Okay. Before it, how do I say it?
no, if they do it, then thank you is one thing. That's not exactly praise, that's
Yeah,
appreciation.
that's true. Like,
I
well
really
done,
like
you're
it
really
when-
good. Yeah, well done, you're really doing this job.
Yes,
Proud of you.
you can see you do it when you've achieved well at school. That has a little bit of a critical tone, so
It could be
I'm
great.
very glad that you got 2 A's in your Exams, that's fantastic, but you got a B as well.
That's that.
What do you hear? What do you remember?
B.
The praise or the criticism? But so just saying you did well, you have to be a bit careful.
Rather than
It's lovely that you've tidied up your bedroom, but the duvet cover is not on straight.
rather than saying you got a certain grade or keeping it something, it's much better to praise the effort.
The effort.
The effort done.
Process, not product.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
You kept
That's a
trying.
really important point.
Yes.
which I want to get
So
on.
rather than saying I'm really proud of you that you got an A, I would say I'm really happy that you have done your best.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So it is important not to take praise away with a single criticism. And there are some studies for anorexic, mainly girls, who often have rather perfectionistic parents, and they have this great sense of ideal that they want to be absolutely perfect, and they can't tolerate intolerance. It's not the only perfect, but it's an interesting thing. Okay. So the next little exercise is for 1 minute. What behaviour would you like to see more in your friend or your partner? Could we just say so? Okay. And how are you going to say it? Okay. We don't have 50 minutes. Yeah, your partner, if you have a partner, or your sister, or your friend. Where do you start? Partner, if you have a partner, husband, if you have a husband, or somebody close to you. Your parents, your own parents. Be nice to me, cook me a nice meal when I come on Sundays. Somebody important to you. Any examples? We haven't got all day.
Check on me more frequently for my friend.
So I like it when you.
Check on me.
When you say check, what do you mean? Ask me. Yes. How's your day? Yeah.
More frequently.
I really like it when you ask. Okay, good. Yeah, for a friend.
Planning ahead or letting me know the plan ahead.
Yes, to the point. I really like it when you let me know the plan rather than suddenly disappearing. Yeah. Okay, good. Other example?
Share some time with me.
Sorry?
Sharing some time with me.
Quality time.
Quality time.
Quality time.
I really like it when you spend some time with me. It's a year since we went to the cinema. Yeah. Good. If you have a difficult child, you don't get much time for yourself. So looking after the couple relationship is important in its own right, but it's important for the kids. To have happy parents. A perfect partner. Spending time, don't be in the office all the time, or in my hotel I'm in Novotel, there's rooftop bar has 3 televisions with Egyptian football. A lot of men watch football. And of course there is, here we have cafe culture, don't we?
Yes.
Men go to the cafe. I really like it when you spend, yes. As a man, and there are not many men in the room, I feel quite complimented if you say, look, it'll make me want to do it more. That's very nice. So the children like it when you pick them up at school. Yeah. Wow. So these things, aren't they? So I think these could be quite effective. I remember one mother saying, you know, does it work? These techniques work on men. So I said it works on dogs and horses. So try it tonight. I really like it when you take your smelly socks and put them in the laundry basket, not in the middle of the floor. I really like it when you stack the dishwasher. But those examples are very good examples. So try it tonight, okay? I really like it when you look cleanly shaved and take the hairs out of your nose.
I feel supported when you do.
If you say I feel supported, yes. Some men supporting people is a bit thinky-feely, but yes. It's really nice when you spend time. You make it feel more loved. So we're getting, it has to be a skillful comment, doesn't it, that's going to make sense. So what are the barriers to praise? What stops us to praise? Because certainly as an Englishman, it's kind of not British. You expect people to behave. They've had a good upbringing. You shouldn't have to praise them. It's kind of American, Mickey Mouse stuff.
Sometimes you get blinded with the wrongdoings that you, at some point you can't even see the good things that you need.
No, sometimes you don't see it, and this is very important actually. So there's a chap called Robert Weiler, W-H-L-E-R, who showed parents of kids with conduct problems a videotape of children behaving, and parents of normal kids. And, so the parents of the conduct problem kids did not see as much positive behaviour. But it wasn't, so you would then think they see all the bad stuff, but actually they didn't see as much bad behaviour either. They're just not so tuned in to children. So getting them tuned in to know the nature of childhood is very important. So what stops us praising? Does it feel comfortable? Does it feel a bit?
So being able to regulate and understand your emotions.
Yes. But do you feel, certainly as an Englishman, it's a bit embarrassing to praise people? Would it be shy? It's not part of the culture.
I think that it's the norm to be having such a good behavior, and then it's out of the norm to have a bad one. So we always focus on what is out of the norm.
Yes, you expect, but that actually doesn't help the child get new habits.
And sometimes it's hard not looking at the result of like the outcome and focusing on how do I fix that. Sometimes it's like something is going on, I want to fix that.
Yes,
the outcome is I'm not.
But so the studies of even the most difficult children are that about between 90 and 95% of the time they're behaving okay. The actual tantrums, lying, stealing, hitting is only 5%. So if we can get that from 95 to 99%, if you're behaving good more of the time, they're going to reduce bad behavior. So that is right. Okay, so now, in your pairs again, I want you to take turns. First of all, the first pair, and then switch after 2 minutes. But I want you to do 2 things with your buddy here. The first is to say something nice about them today. You're wearing a nice thing. You've made a good comment to the group. I really like what you said, or whatever it is, just a small compliment, all right? Make a compliment to the person beside you. And then secondly, I want you to say one thing about yourself in the last week that you yourself did that you're proud of.
What?
I cleaned the house. I've cracked Einstein's law. I didn't get a parking ticket. Something positive. Okay? So compliment your buddy person and say one or two things that you're proud of what you did in the last week. Okay? Look at the kids now. They went to school clean. Okay? Off you go and then switch. First of all, is it nice to receive a little compliment? Yes. Isn't that a bit embarrassed, but it's kind of nice, isn't it? Is it difficult to praise yourself?
Yes.
No, it's interesting.
No.
It's interesting. Some people do find it difficult. Maybe it depends how we were brought up. Maybe if we were not praised by our parents, it feels I'm very clever, but you should do that, not.
No, I think I've learned it over time.
What?
I've learned it over time.
You've learnt it. Right. That's good for you because not everybody has. Just give yourself credit.
I noticed I didn't find it difficult, but I really mind doing it.
Yeah. Well, that's probably better to praise doing than being because you can't choose your being. But if you can do that, it makes you more likely to continue, doesn't it? Oh, I did well at that, I would do it again. I cooked a lovely dinner party for Egyptian lamb. It makes it more likely to do it, but we certainly in England have quite a lot of discomfort among some people about using praise. Now, you can use the same techniques with reading and homework, particularly with reading for children who are 5, 6, 7. So it's what I call the process is pause, prompt, praise. So can I have a couple of volunteers? Different ones if possible. Okay, good. One more. So we usually recommend 10 minutes play and 10 minutes reading with their kids if they're the right age. So this is Mummy and this is the child with her storybook. It's not about the big bad wolf, it's about behavioural science. But I'd like you to read it, not terribly well, and I'd like, as before, you to be rather, no, don't be stupid, this is the word, give her the answer quickly.
Okay.
So you start reading, you be critical.
Stages.
Where are you? Okay. Stages.
Stages in
Coping with stress. Start at number 1.
no, I wanted to be here.
Okay. Repeat what I said.
Stages.
Stages, right?
In
Coping.
coping with stresses.
Well done. Go ahead.
Too nice.
Assessment.
Come on, you're taking a very long time to read the sentence. Identity.
5. Identify. The sources. Sources and effects of stress.
Number 2.
Goal.
This is the error number 6. I'm reading 2 lines. Let's try to read.
Good, okay, you get the point.
Can I make this?
It doesn't feel very nice.
No, I'm like, I don't want to try.
Okay, so now we have a thing called pause, prompt, and praise. So instead of saying, oh, don't be stupid, Steve, you know, it's a cow, not a cat. We said, just for the parent, you know, hold on, breathe and take a breath. Let the child go at the child's pace. And if they can't get a word, and again, I'll try to give them a prompt. So sometimes, if it is not here, but if it's a storybook, you can simply look at a picture. You can look at your own. If the boy kicked the, what do you kick? You know, not your mother, the ball. That sort of thing. You can go to the meaning, the semantics, as well as the phonics sounding out. It must be the same in Arabic. I guess you're sounding out. Oh, yeah, it's easier in Arabic. I like this. Better in hieroglyphics. But so you can do that. So the point is, you're helping the child process. So you can pause and say, well, what is that letter? That is an A or a C. And then once then you praise the effort. Well done for trying, as well as just the result.
Planning. List the expected.
Why don't we break that down? Do you remember the rule?
Specific.
Excellent.
steps to be
Excellent reading. See, you're getting faster and faster. What's the vowel sound here? Okay.
Taken
Excellent.
to cope.
Again, what do you think the vowel sound is?
Cope with stress.
You're doing very well. Let's try this one.
Action. Implement.
Breaking down.
So now you can give her a feeling of that you're really trying hard. So give her praise, emotional involvement.
Excellent trial, and I think the result is
Okay, good. So you get the point that by slowing down, and if some of you come to the talk tomorrow, I'll show the results of the trial. So are you coming to the talk tomorrow? Because if you're not, I'll show it to you. Well, I'll quickly show you the results. Because it makes a difference. So the first thing we do for the parents is say, turn off the television, turn off the phone, cuddle up. It sounds basic, but some don't do it. But just here's a little clip of a mother.
It's like one leg, two legs, three legs. Those two legs are tied together. It's called the fingers. What happens here?
Hooray, shouted Kipper. Dad was in an egg and spoon place. He came third. Well done, Dad shouted.
So she's hanging on, she's not jumping in.
Mom was in a race.
Giving her prompts to look at her finger.
Why did she say no now? What happened to
Because she
now?
accidentally.
Talking about the story, making it fun and meaningful.
Yeah.
Mom came last. Coral moves in Will.
So it's just the point that reading can be fun and you can do it together. It can be a special time. The mother's head is in the child's headspace. Okay, I'll just show you. So by the way, just to say that this therapy is different from some therapies. Look, it's slow. Yes. So cognitive therapy works with your head, doesn't it? You change the things, and then that leads to changing behaviour. Psychoanalysis, you put them on the couch, you get rid of their internal crises, then they change their behaviour. This is different. Here you start with the doing. You start with the behaviour, you teach the parents a new way to relate, and then afterwards they're thinking about how they think of the child changes. So it's very, just to make it clear, it's a very different model of therapy from some models. It's okay to do it. For this particular behaviour problem, it's better to start with the behaviour. But obviously, changing our thinking is very important. If you drive in from Cairo Airport, you see a lot of nice advertisements for mobile phones. That is changing the way you think, and then your behaviour should change. You should go buy a Samsung S20. Okay. want to make children grow up antisocial, we take a bit of genetics, these difficult characteristics, but then we add in negative parenting, and a bit of ADHD makes it last. If we're trying to predict who's going to grow up not very well, failing at school, you're not very good at the maths and the English, you hang out with the other bad kids, and then by the time you're a teenager you bunk off school, you don't go to school, and you can get into a whole antisocial lifestyle. Now, as a sort of rather idealistic person, when my kids were 5 and 6, I thought they didn't have such nasty concepts about who's clever, who's not. If you ask them, they say, oh yes, the girls sit on the table which is called, foxes or badgers. They're faster readers. We're the one which is not so good. Really, very early we're doing these social comparisons. So therefore, once you get to feel stupid and bad, it's difficult. And the last thing, by the time you're a teenager, most antisocial behaviour is with your friends, your antisocial friends. So I wanted to change that. So we did something called Spoke, Supporting Parents on Kids' Education in Schools. And we said we would be preventive. We go into primary schools and they do Robert Goodman's Strength and Difficulties questionnaire, and we take the worst 20% of the population early, when they were 5 or 6, just starting school, in a disadvantaged area. And we thought if we just did the behaviour, that might not be because of the shame thing. If I say, thank you for your child is really quite bad, he's going to be on the streets selling drugs if you don't have my parents in class. Not terribly engaging, I think, really. But if you say, gosh, you say your kid can be difficult, I've got another parent here who will tell you this program has worked, and we're going to help you how to read with your kids, and this should track through right to going to college. That's a bit more appealing. So we're very impressed that of the parents who could come on the day who weren't working, 67% came. So I'm always impressed by the love for the next generation. So they did care. I'll show you a group. So the point is to get kids to read during the summer holidays, because when they're not at school they lose their skills. Some facial resemblances there. And we did find the Incredible Years program reduced their antisocial behaviour. Notice the control group are not growing up. This is 1 year later. This is how much antisocial behaviour they have. So the purple bars, they improved 1 year after starting that. Their hyperactivity, do you remember that boy was concentrating better? He concentrated better on task, which is why parent training is recommended in the NICE guidelines for ADHD as well as medication. But this is what I wanted to show you, that in this trial, first of all, see the teachers are doing a good job. This is the reading age compared with their chronological, their birth age. And the teachers are bringing their reading age up, but with this reading program of reading 10 minutes a day with your child using pause, prompt and praise, they were 6 months advanced. That's a good benefit age, 6 years of age. So I'm just saying these techniques do work. It's not just a nice idea. I think I'll stop there.
Thank you for sharing it, even though it wasn't in the plan today.
What?
Thank you for sharing that, even though it wasn't in your plan today.
Great pleasure. Great pleasure. So we want to praise up stuff that we want to see, and we'll see more of it. And you're going to try it tonight with your friends and partners. Good. Okay. So if I put this onto there, because B should go. So now we're coming on to, for some difficult behaviours, you may need to have a reward. So we talk about no cost and low cost. Okay? No cost is you can choose what pudding we have today. You can have extra time with Daddy, that man, in the park, or wherever playing. Can we think of some other zero cost rewards?
Hugging, a hug.
A hug? Yes. So that's a really good example, because if the child is naughty, we don't want to cut everything away. So maybe you should be giving them hugs, so maybe some extra hug. Okay. What? Saying nice words, that's praise. No, I'm looking for something a bit practical, tangible.
Money.
Money, yes.
Extra playtime.
Extra playtime, nice, yes.
Cooking with me.
Cooking with me, yes, although again, it might be something
Sharing likers.
you don't want to cut off. It's a difficult one because maybe it's good for him to cook with you or her to cook with you. Keep going.
Sharing his favorite movie. His or her favorite movie. You
Favorite?
sometimes tend to, sit and watch a movie with a child, with no chance to choose what they want to watch.
Yes.
So why don't
You can choose the TV program or something.
Maybe the
Yeah.
child thing.
Yes, exactly. That would be good. So it might be a little different from the latest soap opera. Might be a nice child cartoon or something. Okay, and then you have to watch it for 10 minutes. Absolutely. That's a good one. So those are no cost. What about low cost? Little sweets or something like that?
Candy.
Candy, yeah.
A sticker.
Sticker, yes. I'll come on to how we do that. But if you get enough stickers, you get something. Could be very small. I mean, small toy or a little bit of a toy or a reading book you want them to read or something like that. Not much money. The point is not to spend a lot of money. We do see some parents who say, if you're very well behaved, at Christmas I will give you a pony or a horse or something. It's too long in this child's life and it's too expensive. You're breeding failure. So we say you need to give a small reward, and should they do it all the time immediately? I want you to make your bed, because it's a bit of a mess, your bedroom, I'm sorry. I want you to make your bed every day. Is that going to work? No. So I'm quite a fan of a reward chart. If you come across those, I'm sure you have. Yes. So, we would, so this is Sam's chart. I'd like her to have a slightly tinier bedroom, okay? So it's only one thing, there's not 5 different things. So it's tiny bedroom. Okay? And we will have it here, and we will have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and you can make this with the children. They can put nice pretty pictures, they can draw whatever they want, birds on it, and whatever they like to do. Get the child involved in making the chart. Explain, we are going to have this chart now, this, and put the rules very clearly. If bedroom tidy, 1 star, yeah. And at the end of the week, how many stars do we want to get a reward?
5.
5, maybe to begin with.
3.
We start off, we want success. So 3, okay. 3 stars equals, and we need to find something that's going to work for Samar. Is she listening, Samar? Samar. We need your reward for it. What's your reward here today? Gin and tonic?
Going to the cinema.
No, if it's a shop, yeah. Okay, cinema, yeah. Go and see Rambo. Okay? So then, if she does it, she can put it in 50 days. And if she doesn't get it in the first week, or if it's coming up, she still needs one more, you need to be, I'm sure you can do it. I'm really sure you can do it. Think how nice it would be to go and see that film. Maybe I can help you a little bit. You're always trying to breed success. So Ross, you're a failure. Really, this is to get them moving in the right direction.
I think it's very important to explain to parents that the reason behind the chart is for the child to be successful, not for the parent to implement
Yes, that's right. And this is temporary. This is to see more of a slightly difficult behaviour that hasn't worked. Okay? And then once you've done it for 2 weeks, you can withdraw the reward. Once the new habit becomes automatic.
And so do you recommend...
Something like 1 or 2 weeks. It shouldn't be long. Once you've got the new, and then you can actually, or you can reduce it to an intermittent schedule.
Do you recommend that word charts always only have one?
Only one behaviour at a time, yeah. Too much is too complicated. Or maybe two, but so being good is hopeless, it's got to be specific. Being kind to your sister is okay, but tidy your bedroom, get up on time, keep clean, make sure your teeth are good. It's too much.
Silent handed in on time.
Yeah. So maybe 2 maximum, okay? And then when they get it. So let me give you an example then, if you're not going to be here tomorrow. So this is a parenting group. We do it in groups because it's cheaper. All mothers are not very good at getting dads in. This population, the disadvantaged population, are still younger children as women's work. We're beginning to get some dads. And this woman is quite frightening. She frightens me a bit. She used to smack her kids quite a lot. But you will see she's been through play and praise. She says, I praise them, I hug them. But they had a reward chart. What do you want? She has twins, Nathan and Nathaniel. One of them is a joy, you will hear. The other one will, even if she mentions his name, she can start getting angry. But, so we said, what do you want to make better? Everything. Wow. That's not going to work. So we said, one thing. Okay, one thing, she has a cream carpet, and it was February in England, very muddy, and he puts his muddy sneakers on the carpet. So he takes his shoes off at the front door and hangs them up. That is what she wanted him to do, okay? So then we give her that, she goes away for a week. We actually often give a midweek phone call to encourage the parents. And so she's now going to tell you whether it works back in the parenting group.
Is that I don't shout at him no more, I don't run and rave at him no more, I will just look.
Quite a scary look.
How's Nathan in his class? Miss Milka's Nathan is a joy. And Nathaniel is... It's actually going to explode every time you mention his name, isn't it? When Nathan and Nathaniel get together, watch out. Can I take you back to the sneakers? Or the trainers? Oh, the trousers. He's done a wonderful thing. Yeah. He's been pushing them. I praised him, I hugged him, I kissed him. Then he goes and finished it. But he did it. Excellent. He done it and he goes, I don't want no spooky stuff.
So the boy said he doesn't want stinking stars. So before it would have been but she's getting more, did you hear that she's praising him, she's hugging him? But she gets more flexible. She doesn't say, don't be stupid, you have to have a star. You'll see what she says.
Smiley face.
Excellent.
Smiley face. Big smile. And I said, good boy. Sorry, I said to it. When I was on McDonald's now, this is making me wonderful stuff. And they had them at McDonald's.
We disapprove. She's not rich. She wanted to take them to McDonald's. That was her choice.
So he accepted the one more time. But listen, this is a miracle. She actually achieved something for a week. It's a movement. That's good. Keep now. Do you understand why we said what I'm doing? Well, actually, it's not even just the sneakers. When he puts the trainers away, he also has up his clothes. Yes. Oh my goodness. Yes. It's miracle. You know what I'm saying? Me could have come close. You know me? I just sat there and I brained to them and the family doesn't know it.
So it's not always like this, but I think you can see the way she sees her son is changing. He achieved something for a week. So this was 3 stars, and then they had their McDonald's. But she's very proud now because he's 6, but in England, in the supermarkets and the checkout, they have all the nice Cadbury's chocolate bars. Just attractive. Well, it's kind of understandable. He got into trouble. She is African Caribbean, another black boy going down the toilet. A lot of issues for her. So for him to change around. But you see the point. We start off, practice this, and now she's beginning to see her child as able to do things.
I'm not sure if I understood what she was saying correctly, but she was saying after he started putting his sneakers up, he started putting his clothes up as well.
Yes, he did. So that's why we say one thing, because often you get generalization to other behaviors as well. And he is actually feeling different about himself. So that is how rewards can definitely work. Yeah. Okay. Well, I think it's lunchtime because it's 12 o'clock. So can we come back at 1 o'clock and then we go on to limits?